A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. For Jerry of the Circus.
Hey, Whitey.
Oh, hello, Bum.
How are you, Whitey?
Fine, Bum, fine. Couldn't be better.
Oh, say, White, have you seen Mr. Randall?
Yeah, he and Jerry's uncle just came back on the lot. I think you'll find him in his office wagon right now.
Good, I'll get right over there then.
Oh, okay, well, I'll see you later, Bum.
All right, Whitey.
Yeah?
It's Bump, Sam.
Oh, come on in, Bump.
Jeff said you wanted to see me.
Yeah, Bumps. Pull up a chair.
Okay. Well, what's on your mind, Sam?
Well, I thought maybe you'd like to get in on this job I have.
What's that?
Picking a school for Jerry.
Oh, fine. Oh, you got the catalogs then.
Yeah, here they are. Nice assortment, too. It's going to be hard to pick the right school.
Oh, that's so?
Yeah. Take a look at some of these books.
All right. It seems like we ought to be able to pick one out of all these.
Yeah. Say, here's one that looks good to me, Bumps. This one here.
Mm-hmm.
Fine-looking bunch of boys at that school. Just look through here and see those pictures.
All right. I'll say this is a fine school. Nice buildings, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Sam, I think you're doing a wise thing sending Jerry off to a good school. The boy needs an education.
Yeah.
And he's the kind of a boy that'll make the most of it.
Yeah, you just bet he will.
Well, he's quick. He picks things up fast.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I have every reason to believe I'm going to be proud of him.
Yeah, we all will. That's why I want to be sure to pick the right school for him. I want to feel that I'm doing the very best I can.
Yeah. Let's see this catalog now.
Well, that's pretty far, Bumps. It's a good school, but it's clear across the country.
Oh, yes, I see it is.
Come in.
Oh, hello, Dan.
Oh, hello, Dan.
Here's a couple more catalogs and some literature, Mr. Randall.
Oh, good. Sit down, Dan.
Sam and I were just going over some of these schools that he has books on.
Find anything that looks okay?
Looks like they're all okay, Dan.
Jim just got back from the post office, Mr. Randall, and found these books.
Hey, this looks like a good one. Right here.
Oh, Fair Oaks, huh?
Mm-hmm. Fair Oaks Military Academy. Yeah. Listen to this. Military discipline tempered with good sense and adapted to growing boys. The prime function of this school is academic and character.
That's the ticket.
Here. Military training develops the boy physically and gives him a sound body, grace and carriage, poise, and self-control. It teaches him to respect authority and trains for leadership.
Say, that sounds good, Sam.
Mm-hmm. And it tells about the traditions of the school, background of the instructors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks all right.
Well, let's see. Say, Jerry will like this. They have horses there, and all the students ride.
Yeah, look at this picture. They're boating.
Yeah? Yeah, it's a good-sized lake. Oh, here's another thing. Look at this map here in the back.
Yeah?
Here, see where it's located? Not too far from winter quarters. We can hop down there in an automobile in a few hours.
Why, that's ideal, I'd say.
Yes, sir. This looks like the school for Jerry. What do you say, Dan?
You're Jerry's guardian now, Mr. Randall. What you say goes.
Yes, but what do you think of it?
That's a fine list of instructors they have. Jerry'd certainly learned something at Fair Oaks. I think it's a good school, Mr. Randall.
Mm-hmm. And Bumps, what do you say?
Well, unless I miss my guess, Jerry'll like it. They have everything there a boy could wish for.
Did you tell Jerry I wanted to see him, Dan?
Yes, I did, Mr. Randall. He was over with Olson.
Oh, yeah.
They're sweeping off El Mundo. He'll be over.
Good. Well, then it's agreed as we talked it over, we'll put his money in the bank for him.
I think that's wise.
Yeah, so do I.
Jerry doesn't know yet that he's leaving the circus to go to school.
Oh, he knows he's going to have to go to school, but he doesn't know he's leaving so soon.
Won't you have to get in touch with the school first?
Well, yes, I'll call them long distance and see if they have an opening.
Here he comes now, across the lot.
Oh, yeah.
Say, Sam, don't you think Jerry should have a chance to pick the school he's going to have to go to?
Well, sure. Yeah, that's an idea, Bumps. But he'll pick Fair Oaks.
Huh? How?
Well, you just watch. Come in.
Did you want to see me? Oh, hi, Bob.
Hello,
Uncle Dan.
Oh, Jerry.
Hello there.
Yes, I did send for you, Jerry. You're invited to attend our meeting.
What meeting?
The Jerry Dugan Welfare Society.
Yeah, I want to have a talk with you, young man. I guess your uncle told you that I'm now your legal guardian.
Yeah, he did. Stop it, Ray. All right, go on out, but stay right in front of the wagon.
You better close the door.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to start right out on my new job, Jerry. Sit down. You remember I told you the other day that you were going to have to go to school?
Yes, sir. As soon as the season is over.
No, before that, Jerry. Right away.
Oh, Mr. Randall.
Now, Jerry.
I've got to do my act.
Well, I think we can struggle along without the act. Now, look, Jerry. From now until the end of the season, we have nothing but one-night stands. You've enjoyed the best part of the season. The rest is hard. We're on the move all the time. Early setups and switches in the middle of the night. It's no cinch, really.
But I don't mind.
Oh, I know you don't, but I think you'll be better off if you go right to school. You know, I want you to be happy. I think you will be happy at school. Why, in a few days you'll forget all about the circus and take an interest in things a boy should take an interest in. Football, baseball, swimming, and things like that. You'll like it, Jerry.
Maybe.
Oh, sure you will.
Mr. Randall's right, Jerry.
If you get right at it now, by the time there are promotions, you'll get into a better grade. Now, look here. I've got quite a few catalogs, all sorts of different schools.
And pretty fine schools at that.
Yeah, look them over, Jerry, and see which one you like best. Here's one I think would be nice.
Military schools, huh?
That's right.
Wouldn't you like to go to a military school?
Oh, sure. I always wanted to. Dad was going to send me to one. But, gee, let me finish the season first.
What's the advantage in that, Jerry?
I don't know, but... gee, I hate to leave everybody now.
Oh, well, you're going to leave them at the end of the season anyway. That's the way it is with circus folks, son. Every year at the end of the season, we have to say goodbye. Sometimes we're all together again the next season, and sometimes we're not.
How'd you like that school, Jerry?
No, wait. Hey, look here.
Bumps.
Yes, Sam?
Remember what I told you. Watch.
Say, this is a keen school, Mr. Randall.
Which one is that, Jerry?
Fair Oaks.
Uh-huh.
Hey, look at, they have horses there, and polo teams, and, hey, a big lake, too.
Well, now, that isn't the one I picked out, Jerry. You've had enough to do with horses and being around animals. You want to pick out a school where you'll learn something. You've had an easy time of it, and now it's time for you to get down to business and study.
Well, sure, but I've got to have a little fun, too, and, well, you know how much I like horses and like to ride.
What's the name of that school, Jerry, the one you like?
Fair Oaks, and, Jiminy, look at this. It's not so far from winter quarters, either. Maybe I could visit winter quarters on weekends or vacation time.
Well, no, that's another thing, Jerry. It's too close to winter quarters. You want to get as far away from the circus as possible.
Oh, no, this is a keen school. Hey, and look at the swell football team. Please, Mr. Randall, let me go to Fair Oaks.
Have you got any other objections to the school, Mr. Randall?
No, they have a wonderful faculty,
Please,
and
that's the one I want to go to. You said you wanted me to be happy, and, well, I know I'd like it there.
Well, now...
Please, it's an awful good school.
Well, all right, but...
I'll do anything you say if you just let me go to Fair Oaks.
Well, will you leave tonight after the show?
Oh, no, not that soon.
Well, you said you'd do anything I wanted you to.
Oh, you'll be tickled to death once you get there, Jerry.
I'll tell you what. Bumps and I'll go with you.
Huh?
Yeah, Uncle Dan there can sort of hold on my job while we go with you to enroll.
There's something for you, Jerry. How about that?
But how could Bumps get off?
Oh, well, seeing as how I'm the boss, I reckon we can fix that. Let me get a call through now and see just where we stand.
I think you picked a good school, Jerry.
So do I, Jerry, and you'll like it there. You're going to have a lot of fun.
Long distance, please. What's the major's name there at the Fair Oaks, Jerry?
Let's see, his picture's right here in the front of the book. Oh, it's Major Frank Davis.
Right. Hello, operator. Yes, I'm calling the Fair Oaks Military Academy at Fair Oaks. That's right. I want to talk with Major Frank Davis. That's it. This is Mr. Randall speaking. Huh? Oh, the phone number? This is an extension phone to the Randall Brothers Circus. That's right. All right, thank you, operator.
Are they going to get it for you?
Yes, they'll call me right back.
Hey, what are you calling them for?
Well, we have to see if there's a place open for a new student. They might be all filled up.
Oh, I see.
Now, about your money, Jerry.
Hey, now I see it.
What?
Rosa was right.
What are you talking about, Jerry?
Remember when Rosa told my fortune the last time? She said I was going to be in a uniform, like a soldier. And she saw me marching between big trees, and she said I was going to leave the circus.
Well, say.
Hey, look. Just look at all those big trees. Say, this picture here. Well, there's trees all around the school.
That's another prediction of Rosa's come true.
You bet it is. Hey, wait till Slats hears about this.
Now, about the money, Jerry.
Oh, yeah, excuse me.
Your uncle and I think you should put the whole amount in the bank for the time being.
Oh, but what it takes to send me to school.
No, the whole amount, Jerry. I have a little surprise for you.
No, what, Sam?
Yeah, what's this?
You remember when you started doing your act with El Mundo, Jerry? I gave you a raise in salary.
Yeah?
But I didn't give you the whole amount. That act is worth a whole lot more than you've been putting away every week that I've been giving you. I've only been paying you about a fourth.
Huh?
That's right. I've been saving the biggest part of your salary for you. And I've got it all right in that safe, enough to pay your tuition at Fair Oaks.
Really?
That's right. Is that a surprise, Jerry?
I'll say it is. And thanks, Mr. Randall.
Now you can put all your money that you got from your property away in the bank. I guess you're not so bad off, you. Excuse me. Hello? Yeah, all right, operator. Hello, Major Davis? This is Mr. Randall, Major Davis, of Randall Brothers Circus. Yeah, I'm calling to find out if you have a place for another boy there at Fair Oaks. Yes. Yes, he is, that's right. No, right away. Yes, sir. Yes, Major. Oh, fine, Major. Oh, well, I'll get the information, and, we'll get in sometime tomorrow. Thank you, sir. You bet. All right, goodbye, Major. Well, that's that.
Is there room for me?
It's all set, huh, Sam?
Yep.
Fine, that's great. Well, Jerry, you're almost on your way.
He was certainly a fine man to talk to, huh? I think you'll get along all right with him, Jerry.
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
Well, how about Rags? What's going to happen to him? Oh, I can't leave Rags behind.
Oh, well, now, Jerry, you know I'd take the best of care of that little fellow.
Oh, no, I can't go away from him, Bumps.
Now, Jerry, don't worry about that. We'll take Rags with us to Fair Oaks. I think after the major season, we won't have any trouble. Why, Rags will most likely wind up being the mascot of the football team.
Hey, that's an idea.
Sure. It'll work out all right. Now, you better run along, get into your uniform, and get ready for the night show, Jerry. It'll be your last one, Jerry, so better be good.
The psalmist said, "When I awake, I am still with thee." For the child of God, seeking the presence of the Lord is essential as each day begins. To help you in starting this day with God, we offer a brief devotional meditation from morning and evening, a collection from the pen of one of the greatest preachers of all time, Charles Haddon Spurgeon. Our text for this morning is found in the Song of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 8. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, if ye find my beloved, that ye tell him that I am sick of love. Such is the language of the believer panting after present fellowship with Jesus. He is sick for his Lord. Gracious souls are never perfectly at ease, except they are in a state of nearness to Christ. For when they are away from him, they lose their peace. The nearer to him, the nearer to the perfect calm of heaven. The nearer to him, the fuller the heart is, not only of peace, but of life and vigor and joy. For these all depend on constant fellowship with Jesus. What the sun is to the day, what the moon is to the night, what the dew is to the flower, such is Jesus Christ to us. What bread is to the hungry, clothing to the naked, the shadow of a great rock to the traveler in a weary land, such is Jesus Christ to us. And therefore, if we are not consciously one with him, little marvel if our spirit cries in the words of the song, I charge you, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, if ye find my beloved, tell him that I am sick of love. This earnest longing after Jesus has a blessing attending it. Blessed are they that do hunger and thirst after righteousness, and therefore supremely blessed are they who thirst after the righteous one. Blessed is that hunger, since it comes from God. If I may not have the full-blown blessedness of being filled, I would seek the same blessedness in its sweet bud pining, in emptiness and eagerness, till I am filled with Christ. If I may not feed on Jesus, it shall be next door to heaven to hunger and thirst after him. There is a hallowedness about that hunger, since it sparkles among the beatitudes of our Lord. But the blessing involves a promise. Such hungry ones shall be filled with what they are desiring. If Christ thus causes us to long after himself, he will certainly satisfy those longings. And when he does come to us, as come he will, oh, how sweet it will be. This meditation was taken from Morning and Evening by C.H. Spurgeon. Please listen each morning at this same time for Morning and Evening.
The greatest story ever told. We present He That Loseth His Life, a drama based upon a teaching set forth in the 10th chapter of the Gospel according to St. Matthew, a teaching from the greatest life ever lived. In the northern part of the province of Galilee, there is one man whose name you are bound to hear most often, Amos of Gischala. For his wealth is great, and his influence upon the people of that area is even greater. When Amos prospers, everyone prospers. And in a season when his crops are small, there is hardship in the town. But this is no day to talk of hard times. For today there is feasting and celebration on the great estate of Amos. There's laughter and music and great joy everywhere, except perhaps in the heart of Amos himself, as now he stands watching the festivities. And though there is a smile on his lips, one can see by looking closely that his eyes are not smiling.
Sir, Amos, it is almost time to serve the meat.
Then serve it.
I thought, sir, that you would care to make your announcement first.
The announcement?
This great feast and all to make the announcement, and yet you have forgotten.
I have not forgotten. Find my son. I will tell these people the reason for this feast.
Yes, sir, I will find him at once. Sir, he is here.
Good. Well, Jonathan, we have a hostly duty to perform now.
Do we, Father?
Surely you did not think that I have given this great feast without purpose?
Of course not.
What did you say?
I was only agreeing with you, Father. Whenever you do anything, it is for some purpose.
Then perhaps this time you will approve of my purpose when you hear it. Samuel.
Yes, sir.
Quiet our guests. I wish them to hear this.
Yes, sir.
My friends, guests of my master, please, a moment of quiet, for he wishes to speak to you. Please, quiet.
Thank you, Samuel. My friends, first I bid you welcome here. I ask you to eat and drink your fill, because in that way perhaps you can share this great day with me. And it is a great day. For the reason I will tell you now. Jonathan, come forward. Here. Stand beside me.
Yes, Father.
Today, my friends, my son becomes more than my son. He becomes a partner in all my lands and estates. Yes, it is true. From this day forward, his word is as important as mine. His command of equal weight. His agreement to anything as much a legal bargain as if I had given my own word. Yes, today he becomes more than my son. Well, Jonathan, have you nothing to say?
Please, Father, don't make me.
I insist that you do.
All right. But remember, you insisted. My friends, this and perhaps it was not for me. For before being made a partner of the great Amos, I would have preferred first to really be his son.
Jonathan.
Excuse me, Father, but you insisted.
My friends, the news must have been too much for him. Truly, he did not know what he was saying. That did not diminish your pleasure. Eat, drink, sing. It is my wish that you be happy today. Musicians, come, let us hear some happy tune.
Sir, there is no reason to remain out here. It is growing dark.
They all left so early, even before half the food was consumed. Look, whole oxen untouched and turning cold. That boy, he drove them away with his foolish word.
Please, sir, do not talk about it.
Has there ever been a boy who has been given more? What I did for him today, is that something to be insulted for in front of all the townspeople?
Please,
is a little love and respect too much to ask?
Sir, not now. We are not alone.
They are all gone. In fact, the emptiness of this place can be very oppressive.
Sir, there is someone there, standing a little way off.
Oh, I see. Do you know the lad?
He is not of this part of Galilee.
Well, no matter. From the look of him, he is a beggar. We have food to give away. Give him all he wants.
Yes, sir. Lad, you need not stand off that way. Come closer. And if it is food that you want, you may help yourself.
Thank you, sir. I will not take much. Only enough for 2 people.
There is enough for 200. Take all you can carry.
Thank you, sir. Now, let me see.
You are a very particular beggar. What's wrong with this piece of meat?
It is not tender enough, sir.
Indeed. You are very difficult to please, aren't you?
Sir, it is not myself I'm concerned with.
Who else can it be? Who are you talking about?
He is resting by the side of the road. He is old and very tired. And if it is possible to spare him a few steps, it is a blessing.
This old man, he is your father?
No, sir. And about the tender portions of meat, it is difficult for him to chew, though he does not like to admit it.
I see.
But do not think that I will take a great deal of meat or waste any of it. The hard, crusty part I eat myself.
So that he may have the tender portion, eh?
Yes, sir.
And all this you do for a stranger?
Oh, he is not a stranger.
Yet not a relation, either.
No, sir. I like to think of him as my friend. Now, if it is agreeable to you, sir, may I select a piece of the meat for him?
Of course. Go on, young man. Take whatever you wish. And you need not limit yourself to merely one piece.
And here, Jude, the greatest surprise of all. Look, meat, freshly roasted.
Some kind man has been giving a feast, Aaron?
Yes, sir. And obviously he prepared for a great many more people than actually came there. For there was much food left over, a great deal.
Well, then it is our good fortune. We must thank God for his goodness and then eat. For you are hungry. I can see it in your eyes.
At least this time there's enough. And this piece of meat, notice how tender it looks.
Very tender. And because it is, I wish you to have it this time.
Oh, no, sir. I like the crusty part. You know that.
Well, then, Aaron, I ask you to make this sacrifice for my sake. You take the tender part this time.
Please, Jude.
My friends.
What?
Forgive me for intruding, but after the lad left my place, it struck me suddenly that he took nothing with him to drink.
It is very kind of you to be so solicitous, my friend.
I have brought this picture thinking you might like to draw some cool water from the well.
Thank you very much.
Aaron, why not go and fetch the water now, eh, lad?
Oh, yes, Jude. I will be back quickly.
He is a fine young boy, your friend.
Oh, yes, I am very fond of him.
And he is fond of you, too. I can tell you that.
You know him?
No. But I saw him select this piece of meat you are preparing to eat. I tell you, it was difficult to please him.
Yes, I know. He worries about me a great deal. And now, my friend, you wish to speak to me about something?
What? Well, no.
You can tell you're a troubled man, and there was also this. A man intent on seeing that we had cool water to drink would not have brought an empty pitcher.
To be very truthful about whom the boy spoke so lovingly, for whom he chose food so carefully. I wanted to see what kind of man you are.
What you are saying to yourself, then, is this man is old and poor. He has not even enough to eat, and is clothed in only a simple, coarse garment. What can he give this boy?
I didn't say that.
But you thought it. Am I right?
Yes, Jude, you are right. The boy is devoted to you. I tell you, not many fathers receive as much love and sacrifice from their own sons.
Oh, I see.
I might as well admit it.
I am very sorry for you, my friend.
I cannot understand it. I have given him everything that it is possible to give, yet he does not love me, and yet you... I'm sorry.
And yet I, who seem to have nothing to give, receive so much love and consideration from Aaron. You were going to ask that?
Yes, I'm desperate to know why that is.
My friend, I am on the way in a journey which will take me back to the one I hold most highly in all this world. Perhaps you have heard of him. Most people call him merely the Master, for they do not yet understand fully his mission on this earth.
The Master? Yes, I have heard stories, rumors. Surely it cannot be true what they say about him.
And if I were to give you my word that it is true?
That he has healed even the blind and the lame and the lepers?
True. All of it.
And you think he can help me?
Perhaps if you and your son were to accompany Aaron and me.
If you think he can help me, I will do better than that. I will arrange at once for a caravan to take us there. We will go more swiftly that way.
This time, perhaps there is something to be said for going slowly.
You mean you want us to walk the hot, dusty road?
Yes.
My way is quicker and more comfortable.
My way is slower, perhaps, but might prove to be better. Will you come?
If my son agrees, yes. This is the moment I've been looking forward to for days now.
Yes, my friend, and I trust that you meet it with an open mind and an open heart.
I am sure that I am ready. It is my son that I am worried about.
Why do you say that?
Because during the entire journey, he has not spoken kindly to me. He has not changed in any way.
I had hoped that he would. But perhaps we should not blame the boy altogether.
Then am I to blame? What have I done wrong?
We shall find out now. For I see that the master has taken his place up there on the mount. He is going to teach us now.
So this is your master?
You do not approve of him?
There is something disturbing about him.
Others find him reassuring.
And now, as he looks out upon us and smiles, I think I find his face too gentle.
Yet others find strength in him. Listen to him, my friend.
No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
A sound teaching, Jude, one I approve of and live by.
Do you, Amos?
I have never made the gathering of wealth the most important thing in my life. I have given away a great deal to charity. I have even offered to share everything with my son.
And yet he did not accept it. Now, there must be a reason.
I am waiting to hear your master teach more. For I know if my son hears this, surely he will understand me better.
We shall listen.
He that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
He that taketh not his cross.
If it puzzles you, my friend, it is because you do not know what will happen to our Lord, but we, his chosen disciples, do. His sacrifice will be great. And if any of us would follow in his way, then our sacrifice must be great too.
Sacrifice? It seems he would call on us to sacrifice everything, even our lives.
And yet you call him too gentle. Now it seems you have not the strength to follow his way.
My fortune, I give of that. I do not place anything before the importance of serving God.
Yet he has asked for life. For you, not for your wealth. Now, what is your answer, Amos?
I cannot give it. I cannot give it.
Amos, Amos, come back. Oh, I'm afraid he will never come back now.
wise to come all this way on foot, my son?
I do not find the journey burdensome.
Is that all you can find to say to me, your own father?
Please, Father, I do not wish to quarrel with you. In fact, I do not even wish to talk, if you approve.
So now you will not even talk with me.
No, it's not that, Father. But I am thinking over and over in my mind. I hear his words. And I want to keep saying them again and again, because I do not wish to lose them, ever.
He impressed you so strongly?
Have you ever seen such a face? Heard such a strong yet loving voice? I never have. Nor ever will again. I know it. Somehow I know it.
My son, you know I have never really felt close to you before, or understood you before. But now I do. And I wonder, is it too late for us both to understand each other? Is it?
I wish I knew, Father.
Yes, of course. It is something to see in the future. We must go on. We must return home. Jonathan.
Yes, Father?
Stand still. Stop where you are. That bell.
A leper.
Yes, my son, careful. We must not approach him, or allow him to approach us either. Yet I cannot see him.
He is forbidden to walk the road like all other people. Perhaps he comes through the field.
I will find out. Leper, we hear your bell of warning, yet we do not see you. Where are you? Make your presence known. The law requires it.
Do not be afraid of me. I will make no effort to come close to you. But please, wait. I must ask you something.
Careful, son. Stand where you are. We see you now.
You men travel north. Surely from where you came, you have heard of the Master?
The Master? We have seen him only 2 days ago.
Then you know where he is. You can tell me, please. For once I have seen him, once I have stood in his presence, I will be healed. I believe it. I know it.
He is only 2 days' journey from here.
2 days' journey. For those who can walk the roads openly and freely, it may be 2 days' journey. But for one like me who must walk the untracked fields, it is not 2 days, but 10 perhaps, or even more. So if you know, tell me this. Where can I find the Master 10 days from now? Where?
Jonathan, I had never realized before how these poor creatures live. All I have ever wanted to do was to be kept free from them and safe.
Yet when you see them, you begin to know what suffering there is in the world.
If only I had enough gold with me, I would buy him a donkey to help him in his journey. I should like to do something for the poor man.
Are you helpless without your gold, Father?
So, that is what you think of me. Well, I will show you. Leper, I cannot tell you where the Master will be 10 days from now. But I can tell you this. Wherever he will be, you will be.
Father?
Yes, Jonathan, I will go with him, leading him, helping him, seeing that he is fed. And we will find the Master together.
Father, have you taken into account the risks? This may cost you your life.
I know what I am doing. Did not the Master ask that a man give up his life to find it? And did you not ask me if I was helpless without my gold?
Oh, please, Father, don't let my words goad you into doing anything you will regret.
For once in my life, I will do real charity from within myself. And I will not allow gold to serve as my messenger. If I must risk my life to help this poor creature, then in God's name I will do it. There is only one thing.
Yes, Father.
You will not come with us.
But, Father,
there is nothing to be gained by you risking your life, too. I forbid you to come with us. And remember, I am your father.
It will be as you say.
Good. And now I wish to test myself. Leper, I ask you to draw close to me.
The law forbids.
And does the law forbid a clean person from coming close to a leper?
The law does not say as to that.
All right, then.
Father.
Now, my friend, come. I will take you to the Master, so you may be healed. You need not sound your bell here, Elihu.
I can be stoned for failing to do that. The law says so.
Here I have seen them observe a different law. Here, the well do not shrink from the sick.
Then, all that I have heard of the Master is true?
True indeed. Yet it is strange that I saw all this before, and it did not impress me.
It did not impress you. From the way you have acted toward me, I would have thought that you were one of the Master's staunchest followers.
You would?
Oh, yes, Amos.
I thank you for those words, my friend. Come, I will take you to him. Here, my friend, is the Master.
All that I had thought and dreamed he was, I can see now that he is.
Then go to him, Elihu.
Lord, what need I say? That I am a leper? The sight of me is enough. The sound of my bell is enough. I am unclean and unlike other people. But I wish to be the same as they are. I wish to walk free and unhampered like all other men. Lord, I believe that if you will it, you can make me clean.
Lord, you raise your hand to help him. I will. Be thou clean.
Lord, my flesh is clean, whole again. I am healed. Healed. Amos, there are no words to express my thanks to you.
It was the Master who healed you.
But your willingness to sacrifice made it possible.
Give your thanks to God, my friend.
Truly, you must be a good man. A man of great kindness and compassion. That you would risk your life for a stranger.
To hear such words from your lips, one could not be better paid for any sacrifice.
Father.
Jonathan, what are you doing here? I forbade you to come.
Father, you forbade me to come with you. But you did not say that I could not return here to the Master.
True, my son.
And I had to come back here. I wanted to be here to see you bring that poor man to the Master's feet. And I did. Father, I must confess now that I misjudged you. It was a fine and wonderful thing that you did. And yet, I did not think you capable of doing it. I wish to apologize to you.
I am the one who should ask your pardon, my son. For till I heard the Master, I was not capable of making such a sacrifice. Yes, the Master was right when he said that you can find your life by giving it for his sake. For through this sacrifice, I have found a great deal. I have found a part of myself that has too long been lost. And I have found the precious thing I have always wanted. The love and respect of my son. Yes, I have found my life through his way.
Next week on this same station, we will present another episode in the greatest story ever told from the greatest life ever lived. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
The Last Supper.
When one comes to visit me, he comes with smooth words, his heart full of malice, ready to go out and plot against me in secret. There they stand, my enemies, talking of me in whispers, devising my hurts. Why, the very man I trusted most, my own intimate friend who shared my bread, has lifted his heel to trip me up.
And it was arranged that for 30 pieces of silver, Judas Iscariot would deliver Jesus unto the priests. Now the day of the Passover came, when the unleavened bread had to be broken, and Jesus called his disciples around him.
Go and prepare for us the Passover, that we may eat it.
Where dost thou want us to prepare it?
Behold, on your entering the city, there will meet you a man carrying a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house into which he goes, and you shall say to the master of the
house. There, Peter. The man is going into that house at the end of the street. Yes, I see him, John. It has turned out just as the master said. The man was there as if waiting for us. There's nothing strange about that, John. When the master sent me for the colt for him to ride into Jerusalem, the colt was there. But come, let us hurry. Yes? Who comes? The master says My time is near at hand. At thy house I am keeping the Passover with my disciples.
Come in. He says, where is the guest chamber, that I may eat the Passover there with my disciples? Follow me. Excellent. With that U-shaped table, we can all see the Master. And do you have the right number of couches, sir?
13? Yes, that is correct. We shall be here shortly before sundown.
When the preparations were completed, John and Peter returned to Jesus. Everything, they told him, would be ready at the appointed hour. The sacrificial lamb would be roasted, the ritual wine at hand, as would be the unleavened bread, the wild herbs and the special sauce. As the sun began to descend, they went to the house of Jesus' choice.
I have greatly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say to you that I will eat of it no more until it has been fulfilled in the kingdom of God.
Here, Master, the wine.
Take this and share it among you. For I say to you that I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes.
Judas, may I suggest that you have my place at the table?
I was not aware that any particular place is reserved.
Would you not say that those chosen before you, Judas, should have first places?
I grant you your favored position at Jesus' left, Peter, since you're the accepted leader of the 12, but as for the others, there's no difference among us.
Yes, that's true.
Now, please, silence.
The kings of the Gentiles lord it over them, and they who exercise authority over them are called benefactors. But not so with you. On the contrary, let him who is greatest among you become as the youngest, and him who is the chief as the servant. For which is the greater, he who reclines at table, or he who serves? Is it not he who reclines?
Yes, of course it is, Master.
But I am in your midst as he who serves. But you are they who have continued with me in my trials. And I appoint to you a kingdom, even as my Father has appointed to me, that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom. And you shall sit upon thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
That's very well. But we know that James and John have asked for more than any of the rest of us.
Yes, that is true.
Master, what are you doing?
Look. He takes off his garments and is pouring water into a basin. Peter, he's washing Philip's feet.
Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come forth from God and was going to God, rose from the supper and laid aside his garments, and taking a towel, girded himself. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the feet of his disciples, and to dry them with the towel with which he was girded. He came then to Simon Peter.
Lord, dost thou wash my feet?
What I do, thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter.
Thou shalt never wash my feet.
If I do not wash thee, thou shalt have no part with me.
Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head.
He who has bathed needs only to wash, and he is clean all over. And you are clean, but not all.
Now after he had washed their feet and put on his garment, when he had reclined again, he said to them,
Do you know what I have done to you?
No, Lord.
Tell us, Master.
You call me Master and Lord, and you say well, for so I am. If therefore I, the Lord and Master, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash the feet of one another. For I have given you an example, that as I have done to you, so you also should do. Amen, amen, I say to you. No servant is greater than his master, nor is one who is sent greater than he who sent him.
Master, you said not all are clean here.
If you know these things, blessed shall you be if you do them. I do not speak of you all.
Master, what means this dark saying?
I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled. He who eats bread with me has lifted up his heel against me. I tell you now before it comes to pass, that when it has come to pass, you may believe that I am he. Amen, amen, I say to you. One of you will betray me.
Oh, no.
John, who is it of whom he speaks?
Lord, who is it?
It is one of the 12 who dips with me in the dish.
No, Master.
The Son of Man indeed goes his way, as it is written of him. But woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It were better for that man if he had not been born.
Rabbi, is it I?
Thou hast said it.
It's Judas.
Look, how the Master gives Judas the morsel dipped in sauce.
I must go. I have things to attend to.
What thou dost, do quickly.
Where does Judas go, Peter?
I think Jesus told him to give something to the poor.
Peter, the Master wishes some bread.
Here.
Take and eat.
Pass the morsels along, Matthew.
Pass them, Philip.
Take and eat. This is my body, which is being given for you.
Body.
Do this in remembrance of me. All of you, drink of this, for this is my blood of the new covenant, which is being shed for many unto the forgiveness of sins. For as often as you shall eat this bread and drink the cup, you proclaim the death of the Lord until he comes.
And they did eat, and they did drink. And the supper came to an end with the drinking of the fourth cup of wine and the recitation of a hymn. But the disciples, now 11, clung to Jesus that he should speak more to them. And Jesus, knowing that his hour was not far off, addressed them.
You will all be scandalized this night because of me.
No, Master, never.
For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have risen, I will go before you into Galilee.
Even though all shall be scandalized because of thee, I will never be scandalized.
Peter, behold, Satan has desired to have you that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith may not fail. And do thou, when once thou hast turned again, strengthen thy brethren.
Lord, with thee I am ready to go both to prison and to death.
And I, Master.
And I, Lord,
I tell thee, Peter, a cock will not crow this day until thou hast thrice denied that thou knowest me.
Even if I should have to die with thee, I will not deny thee.
When I sent you forth without purse or wallet or sandals, did you lack anything?
No, nothing.
But now, let him who has a purse take it, and likewise a wallet. And let him who has no sword sell his tunic and buy one. For I say to you, that this which is written must yet be fulfilled in me. And he was reckoned among the wicked. For that which concerns me is at its end.
Swords? Here are swords on the wall.
If it is to struggle and fight for you, Master, we are ready. Lord, behold, here are 2 swords.
Enough. Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and will glorify him at once. Little children, yet a little while I am with you. You will seek me, and as I said to the people, where I go you cannot come. So to you also I say it now. A new commandment I give you, that you love one another, that as I have loved you, you also love one another. By this will all men know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another.
Lord, where art thou going?
Where I am going, thou canst not follow me now, but thou shalt follow later.
Why can I not follow thee now? I will lay down my life for thee.
Wilt thou lay down thy life for me?
Aye.
Oh, Master, we all will.
Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many mansions. Were it not so, I should have told you, because I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I am coming again, and I will take you to myself, that where I am, there you also may be. And where I go, you know, and the way you know.
Lord, we do not know where thou art gone, and how can we know the way?
I am the way, and the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. If you had known me, you would also have known my Father. And henceforth you do know him, and you have seen him.
Lord, show us the Father, and it is enough for us.
Have I been so long a time with you, and you have not known me? Philip, he who sees me sees also the Father.
Oh, forgive me, Lord.
How canst thou say, show us the Father? Dost thou not believe that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak to you, I speak not on my own authority, but the Father dwelling in me, it is he who does the works. Do you believe that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? Otherwise, believe because of the works themselves. Amen, amen, I say to you, he who believes in me, the works that I do, he also shall do, and greater than these he shall do, because I am going to the Father. And whatever you ask in my name, that I will do, in order that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask me anything in my name, I will do it.
Thank you, Lord.
If you love me, keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to dwell with you forever, the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him. But you shall know him, because he will dwell with you and be in you. I will not leave you orphans, I will come to you. Yet a little while, and the world no longer sees me, but you see me, for I live, and you shall live. In that day you will know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. He who has my commandments and keeps them, he it is who loves me. But he who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and manifest myself to him.
Lord, how is it that thou art about to manifest thyself to us, and not to the world?
If anyone love me, he will keep my word, and my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our abode with him. He who does not love me does not keep my words. And the word that you have heard is not mine, but the Father's who sent me. These things I have spoken to you, while yet dwelling with you. But the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he will teach you all things, and bring to your mind whatever I have said to you.
And as Jesus was saying these things in the room, Judas Iscariot hurried through the night to the place of the priests. And like one driven he walked, and his steps echoed through his thoughts.
He knows. He knows of what I do, and yet he does not hinder me. No, he bade me go. What you do, do quickly, he said. He cannot help but know, for I said, is it I? And he said, thou hast said it. And still he did not say, Judas, don't do this thing. If he be what he says, how can they harm him? Can God be put to death? He is great. He is good in works, but can he be God's Son? This night will give the proof to all and stem the doubt. He says that he must die and rise again. But can he?
Well, Judas? He is now at a house where he has partaken of the Passover. When finished, he will retire with his followers to the Garden of Gethsemane. Only they will be with him. Men look alike in the dark. How shall the gods know him? The one I shall go to and greet with a kiss will be he whom you seek.
Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Do not let your heart be troubled or be afraid. You have heard me say to you, I go away, and I am coming to you. If you loved me, you would indeed rejoice that I am going to the Father, for the Father is greater than I. And now I have told you before it comes to pass, that when it has come to pass, you may believe. I will no longer speak much with you, for the Prince of the world is coming, and in me he has nothing. But he comes that the world may know that I love the Father, and that I do as the Father has commanded me.
When one comes to visit me, he comes with smooth words, his heart full of malice, ready to go out and plot against me in secret. There they stand, my enemies, talking of me in whispers, devising my hurt. By the very man I trusted most, my own intimate friend, who shared my bread, has lifted his heel to trip me up.
The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with the National Council of Catholic Men, presents the Catholic Hour. Today's program will consist of music by a unit of the Paulist Choristers and an address by Monsignor Fulton J. Sheen. Tenebrae facte sunt. And there was darkness. The Paulist Choristers open the Catholic Hour with Casullini's beautiful setting from the Holy Week text. Monsignor Fulton J. Sheen of the Catholic University of America will now deliver the 15th in his series of 18 addresses on the crises in Christendom. His discourse today is entitled, Moral Basis of Peace. I present Monsignor Sheen.
Friends, this will be an extremely impractical broadcast. It will attract no attention, exercise no influence whatsoever on public opinion. It will not be quoted in a single newspaper. But though it will be extremely impractical, it will deal with a truth so very basic, and that its rejection will make all our talk about spheres of influence, global strategy, Balkan federations, international courts, beverage plans, freedom and democracy collapse like a house of cards. It is this, our point. I state it in the language of Pius XI. To create the atmosphere of lasting peace, neither peace treaties, nor the most solemn pacts, nor international meetings or conferences, nor even the most disinterested efforts of any statesman will be enough, unless in the first place are recognized the sacred rights of natural and divine law. In other words, a strong sword can put an end to this war, but it cannot beget peace. For peace does not come from the womb of arrested hostilities, but from a justice rooted in God. Families who are quarreling over a back fence may stop fighting when one of them runs out of bricks. But peace will not follow unless a change takes place in their hearts. In order to bring home the moral basis of peace, we ask these questions. Why should the treaties or pacts which will be signed at the close of this world war be kept? What guarantee have we that they will be more honored from 1943 to 1963 than they were in that twilight of honor from 1918 to 1939? No one ever seems to discuss these questions, but they are so very elementary that until an answer is given, there is no reason for making any treaties. One reason for keeping treaties that is given today, and it is a false reason, is that treaties bind because nations enter into them freely. But what is to prevent nations from freely walking out of treaties? As Russia and Germany did in the case of Poland, as Japan did in the case of China, and as Italy did in the case of Ethiopia. Another reason, that of the pragmatist or positivist theory of law, and one that is the most common in America today, is that a treaty is binding because it is advantageous or expedient to keep it so. But suppose it ceases to be advantageous. Suppose it becomes more expedient to abandon it. Then, Hitlerism. Pragmatism is the philosophy of human needs. And one of the greatest of human needs is to be something more than a pragmatist. When one gets down to rock bottom, there are only two possible reasons for keeping treaties, either because of force or because of moral obligation. If force, then might makes right. Then the Nazis are right in Holland and in Belgium. Then the Japs are right in the Philippines. Then if the Nazis and the Japs conquered us, God forbid, the treaties they would make would be just because imposed by force. The theory of force seems right when we can apply it. But in itself, force can never make right. Force works on brutes, but it does not work on men. Power without morality is power without responsibility. As Lord Acton put it, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Beware of power. It is more dangerous now than ever. For power today is passing from the many to the few. It used to dwell in the masses. Now it is in the dictators. Outside of this false view of force, there is only one reason for keeping treaties, namely because a treaty implies a moral obligation rather than a physical one. A treaty is a sacred thing because the God of justice is its witness. That is why there runs through history a record of the sacredness of treaties based on the moral order. The Jews always made their treaties in the name of the Lord God of Israel. Almost all the nations of antiquity surrounded their treaties with religious symbols and rites. Horace, expressing the best of the Roman tradition, warned, "What profit vain laws without moral support?" Lincoln, in his first inaugural address, expressed the American tradition by reminding himself that his oath was registered in heaven. And all of the treaties of Christian Europe, from the very beginning, were written in the spirit of an obligation rooted in morality, for they all began in the name of the Holy and Undivided Trinity. And so they continued in that name until the Treaty of Versailles. That began in the name of the high contracting parties. Men had become wise. In the meantime, they had learned that man had come from a monkey, that progress was due to evolution, that evil was due to bad glands, that morality was a convention, and that God, in the language of a professor from the state of Ohio, was a projection into the roaring loom of time of a unified complex of psychical values. And we wonder why we should have 2 world wars within 21 years. Are we blind? Can we not see that if law is divorced from morality and religion, then treaties cease to be obligatory and begin to be mere arrangements, binding only so long as they are advantageous? Rob international justice of its foundation in morality, and treaties are hypothetical, not categorical. They are convenient tools, not honorable obligations. While law becomes an attorney's cloak woven from the flimsy fabric of legalistic phraseology and artfully placed on the shoulders of arbitrary power. No wonder we had 4,568 treaties signed before the League of Nations from 1920 to 1939, and 211 signed the 11 months before the war. Cooper described in advance the mentality of such treaty makers. Thou hast sworn on every slight pretense, till perjuries are as common as bad pence. While thousands, careless of the damning sin, kiss the book outside, who ne'er look within. What should be done? Well, the League of Nations, or whatever it is to be called when this war is over, should not be open to everyone. It should have its membership conditioned upon the acceptance of certain basic moral principles of justice. It should be more like a club than a streetcar. It should have certain standards of admission. The subscription rate of the Lost League was too low, because anyone could walk in, anyone could walk out. Hence, a nation or a state that will not accept a common ethos or a set of moral principles as superior to the sovereignty of any nation, and existing before any nation began, and binding even when its application goes against itself, should not be permitted to sit in that august body any more than a foreigner may sit in the councils of the United States. Hence, if a big nation makes a condition that it will not enter the League unless it can swallow up half a dozen small nations, then let that power, whether it be Japan, Germany, Italy, Great Britain, Russia, or the United States, be quarantined until it recovers its ethical health. No court of justice can survive if the thief will agree to its decision only on condition that he may keep his loot. Is there any hope for the restoration of this moral order based on justice? There is. Mr. Churchill last week told England that the education of England must return to morality and religion, or perish. And Mr. Roosevelt said, we are especially conscious of the divine power. It is seeming that at a time like this, we should pray to Almighty God for His blessing on our country and for the establishment of a just and permanent peace among all the nations of the world. But until these sentiments are translated into action by us, they are a sounding brass. And that is why we ask every Jew and Protestant and Catholic in the United States to spend an hour a day in meditation and prayer for the cause of victory and a just peace. And anyone wishing a prayer book for these war times entitled The Shield of Faith, we will gladly send it free for the asking. And besides this hope of prayer, there is hope, too, in the fact that a new America is being forged on the anvil of war with the hammers of divine justice. Most of the young men in our armed service are getting a sounder education than if they stayed in school. For they are now learning that the difference between right and wrong is so hard and so absolute that it takes death sometimes to make the right prevail. Their thinking has broken with our gilded past. Some Marines at Guadalcanal, looking at a few moronic pathological youths bedecked in zoot suits, said, maybe we ought to go back and clean up America. Another wounded boy just back from the Pacific said, before I went to war, I believed that justice was what I wanted. Now I've learned to live and to fight for others. Fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. Fight for others. Fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. Fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. I've learned to live and to fight for others. Fight for others. Fight for others. One need hardly recall the words of the soldier at Bataan. There are no atheists in foxholes. These boys are learning justice the hard way. And they will love America more when they come back. For a parallel look to the American Legion of the last World War, which more than any other organization in the United States outside of the Catholic Church consistently and fearlessly opposed the growth of communism in our midst, which opposition, incidentally, within the past few days, found its echo in the statement of the Attorney General of the United States. He said, "It may not be good for Russia to get rid of the communists, but it will be good for America." And these boys of ours, in like manner, will know the wrong things and the right things when they come back. For they're finding them out now in the mud of Africa, in the rolling seas of the Atlantic and the Pacific, the jungles of New Guinea, and in the swamps of the Solomons. When you and I go to work, we know that we will come back. When they go on the field, and in the air, and on the sea, they have a rendezvous with uncertainty. And they seem not to care, because they have one supreme interest, the taking of an objective. And all morality is grounded on an objective, on an end, on a goal, and on God. We will have an invasion when this war is over. Not from a foreign enemy, but an invasion of great men, twice-born Americans. And unless we get down on our knees and transform our hearts by prayers as they have by sacrifice, we will not understand the language that they speak. Their values will be different. Their outlook on life will be different. They will be the new America. And those who do return will never be able to blot out of their memory the thousands of the little white crosses they left behind, marking a spot where foreign earth was piled high on hearts that loved American soil. And these crosses will be symbols of the justice for which they fought, vertically pointing up to God from whom justice is derived, and horizontally pointing outward to America and to the world to whom that justice is to be applied. Each little cross to them will be a miniature Calvary, a cameo Golgotha, a splinter from a great cross whence comes greater love than this no man hath. And when finally the taps sound on the first night of peace, when the guns of the world go to sleep, we will join with these returning soldiers in beloved memory to those little white crosses, and we shall pledge with them that America shall have a rebirth of justice under God, thanks to our martyred dead, who will have given to this earth some of the noblest red blood this earth of ours has drunk since Calvary drank the blood of Christ. O Lord Jesus Christ, who in thy mercy hearest the prayers of sinners, pour forth, we beseech thee, all grace and blessing upon our country and its citizens. We pray in particular for the President, for our Congress, for all our soldiers, for all who defend us in ships, whether on the seas or in the skies, for all who are suffering the hardships of war. We pray for all who are in peril or in danger. and bring us all after the troubles of this life into the haven of peace, and reunite us all together forever, O dear Lord, in thy glorious heavenly kingdom.
The address you have just heard was entitled Moral Basis of Peace and was delivered by Monsignor Fulton J. Sheen of the Catholic University of America. This was the 15th in his series of 18 addresses on the crises in Christendom. A copy of today's talk, as well as of the booklet referred to by Monsignor Sheen, The Shield of Faith, may be obtained by writing to the National Council of Catholic Men, Washington, D.C., or to the station to which you are now listening. The Catholic Hour closes with the hymn, By the Blood That Flowed from Thee. Next Sunday at this time, Monsignor Sheen will deliver another address in this series entitled Jew and Christian in History. Your announcer is John Patrick Costello. This program has been presented by the National Broadcasting Company and the independent radio stations associated with the NBC network, in cooperation with the National Council of Catholic Men, and came to you from New York. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Is the hour of St. Francis. Our story begins in the office of St. Elizabeth's Home for Unwed Mothers. Sister Pauline, director of the home, is walking to the door with Mrs. Louise Baker.
It was certainly kind of you to bring us all those lovely things, Mrs. Baker.
Oh, don't thank me, sister. It's like I said, that Molly Lewis collected them. She just asked me to drop them by because she was tied up, and, I didn't have anything to do this afternoon, so it was no trouble.
Well, since this is your first visit to the home and you're not in a hurry, let me show you around.
Oh, no. No, thank you, sister. Well, I'll tell you the honest truth. I'd rather not. Places like this depress me. I don't even like to think they exist.
Nobody does, but they are necessary, and we have to face the facts.
I just can't imagine what kind of a girl would deliberately... you have to deal with them day after day. New ones coming in all the time. It's so sordid and ugly.
Yes, the thing itself is. But when it comes to the girls, there are so many things back of it. Sometimes it's hard for me to understand, but at those times... there's a picture of one particular girl that always comes to my mind. Her name was Margaret. Mrs. Baker, won't you sit down? I'd like to tell you about her. I think you'd understand more about the home and what we're trying to do.
Was Margaret one of these girls?
Yes, she was. She was an exceptionally pretty girl, and she knew it. She was a willful girl, impetuous, full of life. She lived on a farm, by the way, and she found it very dull. But also, she was very warm-hearted. She had a great capacity for affection. She couldn't get along with her stepmother, and when she was 17, things came to a head.
Father, why can't we move into town? What's the use of grubbing our lives away out here? It'd be so wonderful living in town. There's so much to see.
All you want is to be seen by boys.
Now, Laura, Margaret's only young. She's entitled to some good times.
That's right, Father, and I can't have them here. I want to see things and meet people. Can't we move into town, Father? Please.
Well, Margaret, I suppose it is dull for you here. Sometimes
Victor, if you just want a daughter in your house instead of a wife...
Don't listen to her, Father. She's trying...
Victor...
Oh, will both of you stop? I never have a moment's peace in this house.
Oh, you think you're clever, don't you?
I'll find some way to get out of this place.
You want to move into town so you can be with that Orsini boy. Oh, don't try to look innocent. I know you've been sneaking off to see him.
Well, what of it? He comes from the best family around here.
And what would a boy from the best family around here want with a girl like you? He's interested in a pretty face, but that's all.
It is not. He loves me, and I love him.
Oh, what do you know about love?
More than you ever will. All you know is how to be jealous.
Why, you sassy girl for nothing.
You slapped me.
Yes, and I should have done it a long time ago.
And you'll never touch me again. You hate me. You've always hated me. I'm leaving this house, and I'm never coming back.
Go on. Get out. See how far you'll get. Oh, someday you'll come crawling back.
That's why I just had to see you, Robert. I don't know what to do. I won't go back home.
All right, sweetheart, all right. I'll think of something.
Well, can't we get married now?
Well, there's nothing I'd like better. If only my parents weren't so difficult. They'll come around before long to the idea of my marrying somebody I choose, but just now we can't let them know.
What am I going to do?
Oh, no, it isn't that bad. Oh, wait, I just thought of something.
What?
Yes. Look, one of our maids left this week. Well, you're the new maid. I'll arrange it.
A maid?
Margaret, don't you love me?
Of course I do. You know that.
Well, show me. With a kiss. Oh, you're beautiful.
Oh, Robert. I love you. I love you.
Well, then trust me, sweetheart. With you as a maid, we'll be in the same house. We'll see each other every day. Think of all the times we can be together.
Oh, Robert, it'll be heaven. I'll do anything you say. Only love me, Robert. Love me.
Now, Margaret, I told you I have to have time to think.
That's what you've been saying, Robert, but with the baby coming, I can't stay here any longer.
No, you certainly can't. Well, there's only one way out, and we might as well take it. I have that hunting lodge in the mountains. You can go there. Now, wait a minute. Let me finish. You'll live like a queen. No more being a maid. You'll have servants of your own. Everything you want.
There's only one thing I want now.
What's that?
Robert, do I have to tell you? A child coming and me not married, everybody'll know.
Now, Margaret, nobody could be more sorry about this than I am, but do you realize that my family could disown me? They put both of us out in the street.
Don't you love me anymore, Robert?
Come here. Kiss me. Now, can you ask me that?
Why do I love you so much? I prayed not to.
What?
I know it's wrong. It's wrong. When I'm alone, I pray God to save me. When I was young, I prayed for love. I thought it was the only happiness. I never dreamed it could be such torment.
Is there torment in this?
I'll go anywhere. Do anything you say. All right, Robert. I'll go and stay at the lodge.
Pardon me, ma'am.
Yes, Theodore, what is it?
Ma'am, didn't Master Robert take the hound Hector when he went hunting this morning?
Well, yes, of course. The 3 years we've been at the lodge, he never goes hunting without that dog.
Mama, Hector just came back and Daddy's not with him.
Dog is acting very peculiar. I've got him outside here.
Well, let him in.
Yes, ma'am.
Hector?
Come on, Hector.
Here, Hector. What's the matter, boy? Theodore, he'd never leave Robert. Something must be the matter.
I've never seen him act like this before.
He keeps pulling in my dress. I think he wants me to follow him. Hector, you want me to come with you? Find Robert? Theodore, will you come with me? Paul, you stay here.
Come.
Theodore?
Yeah?
Where's Hector gone? I've lost sight of him.
He went to that patch of brush to the left, ma'am. There he is.
Oh.
Follow me, ma'am. I'll break a path for you. Master Robert!
What? Theodore, what is it?
Master Robert. Dead. Stabbed in the back.
Robert!
Mother, where are we going? Mother, where are we going? Why did we leave home?
We couldn't stay, Paul. We couldn't stay. This is home here. This is our little house.
I don't like it. I want our own house. I want Theodore.
Hush, hush, dear.
I want a drink of water.
Father?
Margaret.
Robert's dead.
Yes, we heard about it.
Robert's dead and I've come back.
Victor, who is that? Oh, it's you.
Robert's dead and I...
What are you doing here? You had your fling, and now that it's over, you come crawling home. I always said you would.
I couldn't stay in that house. I left everything. I couldn't keep any part of it.
You never worried before how you got it.
I knew it was wrong. I used to cry over it. I wanted to leave, but I couldn't. I loved Robert too much. I loved him more than God. And when he was dead, I stood by his body, and then I thought, where is Robert now? Where is his soul? Is it lost? I knew I was to blame as much as he. So I'm going to spend the rest of my life making up for what I've done.
Do you expect anybody to believe that?
Now, Laura, she's had a terrible shock. Margaret, come in,
If
my
that
dear.
girl sets foot in this house, I leave.
Laura, I came to beg forgiveness.
Go back where you came from. What respectable person would have anything to do with you? You made your bed. Now lie in it.
Father. Father?
I'm sorry, Margaret.
Can I have a drink of water?
Paul, come on.
Mother, what place is this?
Town, Paul. Cortona.
I'm tired. Where are we going?
Just a little way. God, where are we going? What can I do? Oh, God, help me.
What's the hurry, madam?
Pardon me?
Say, I like your looks. What's your name?
Let me pass, please.
Now, don't get me wrong. I just thought I could be of some small assistance. I never saw a lovely lady like you alone in this part of town before, so you must be lost. Are you meeting your husband someplace?
My husband's dead.
Oh, that's too bad. You know, the minute I laid eyes on you, I said to myself, now, here's a lady that needs cheering up. She's lonesome. Well, I'm lonesome, too. How about having dinner with me so we can talk?
No, thank you. Let me pass.
Now, we ought to get to know each other. If I like someone, I can do a lot for them. You, for instance. How are you going to take care of your little boy alone? You'll change your mind.
No.
When you do, you ask for me at the Bull and Bear Tavern. The name's Leo. Leo Amato. When things get back, just ask for me.
Oh, come on. Hurry. Oh, God, not that. Help me.
Mother, what are the bells ringing for?
Prayers. Vespers, evening prayers in the church.
All the people are going in. Is that where we're going?
Yes, Paul. Yes.
Why don't we go in, Mother? It's pretty inside.
No, I can't. I can't. Oh, God, please. No, not after what I've done. I'm afraid.
Oh, why are you crying, Mother? Where are we going now?
God, where can I go?
Can I help you?
What?
You seem to be in trouble. Is there something I can do?
No.
I'm hungry. I want a drink of water.
Oh, you and your little boy both look so tired. Come home with me and rest and have something to eat.
No, I couldn't. You don't know me.
Oh, yes, I know you. You're Margaret from the Orsini place.
And you'd still let me in your house?
Well, yes.
Why?
Because whatever you've done, you belong to God, and you're indeed. That makes you belong to me, too. You were going into church when I saw you, so you haven't forgotten God.
Oh, never. I want to come back.
And you want to make up for the past.
Yes, but what can I ever do for him?
Don't worry. He'll tell you in his own time. He may even have great things for you to do.
So, Mrs. Baker, that's how it started. The rest of the story you'll find in the history books. How Margaret became a member of St. Francis of Assisi's Third Order, like the kind woman who helped her, and how she spent her life taking care of the sick and the poor. She lived 700 years ago, but she is still remembered. She is St. Margaret of Cortona. In fact, her body is enshrined incorrupt over the altar of the church she once feared to enter.
Well, I've heard of St. Margaret of Cortona, but I just thought of her as a saint.
It was that one act of kindness that saved Margaret and produced all the good she did later, just because one woman couldn't turn her away. When I'm working with the girls here at St. Elizabeth's maternity home, I always try to remember that.
Oh, thank you, sister. And I'll remember, too.
This episode of The Hour of St. Francis, entitled A Pearl of Great Price, was written for radio by D.J. Talley. The cast included Peggy Weber, Gigi Pearson, Howard Culver, Dick Beals, and Patrick McGeehan.
Horace Height is moving up to the #1 spot in America.
It's marked to mind your manners.
Yes, boys and girls, it's time to mind your manners with Alan Ludden and his panel of typical teenagers. From the studios of WTIC in Hartford, Connecticut, the National Broadcasting Company presents a teenage discussion session for boys and girls from 8 to 18. Adults are invited to sit in on the meeting, too, so gather round, because here he comes, the man who conducts the meeting, that man who makes manners fun, Alan Ludden.
Well, here we are just about to start our last meeting before Christmas, and we have a full agenda, believe me. So the meeting's called to order, and here to introduce themselves is your panel of typical teenagers.
Eileen Barry, 17 years old, high school senior.
Jim O'Neill, 17 years old, high school senior.
Pat Utley, 16 years old, high school senior.
Evan O'Brien, 17 years old, high school senior.
Betty Ann Kelly, 18 years old, college freshman.
And today, to speak for the boys and girls who have not yet reached the teenage, we have our old friend
David Benton, 12 years old, 7th grade.
Well, today, panel, I'm very glad to see you. I'm glad to see you're looking so well because we're going to have a full meeting. It's one of the busiest we've ever had. There are a lot of problems to consider, so let's go to work. The first problem sent in to you came from Glenda Joan Gillespie. Well, just a minute. That's Glenda Joan Gillespie in Fort Meade, Florida. Now, Glenda Joan receives $5 in savings stamps for sending us this question.
Don't you panel members think that a Christmas vacation of 3 or 4 days would be enough? If we didn't take so long a vacation at Christmas, we could get out of school sooner in the spring. How do you feel about it?
Well, now, how do you feel about that kind of an idea, panel? Let's hear first from David Benton. How do you feel about your Christmas vacation, David?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I need that Christmas vacation.
You do? What are you going to do?
I have so many activities doing this and that I need the extra rest.
You're so busy you have to rest from all your vacation, is that right? What are you going to do during your vacations, David?
Well, on top of all the things which probably will happen, and I know will happen at choir, such things as about 6 different carol things and...
Oh, you're a busy choir singer, aren't you? Well, incidentally, David, do you think, though, that would you like to get out earlier in the spring and take a little shorter school vacation at Christmas?
No.
When do you get out of school, incidentally?
Next week.
Next week, and when do you have to go back? You don't know. You're not sure. All right,
I don't care.
You just don't want to go back, is that right? What do you think about it, Pat Utley? What do you think about these shorter vacations?
Well, I feel that a Christmas vacation is part of Christmas, really, because you have so much time to do all the things you want to do during the winter, because later on in January and February, you just don't have a vacation. You have school. By the time you do get out for vacation, the snow's gone.
I see. You like to take advantage of the snow. You go skiing and that sort of...
and all that sort of
I see. That's what you're going to do on your Christmas vacation.
Well, I can do that more things, too.
All right. What are you going to do on your vacation, Evan?
Well, first of all, I'm going to sleep.
Well, that's one thing. Now, there's bound to be something else.
Do some studying. It's,
I want to take a vote of these typical teenagers out here. How many of you are going to study? Pat, are you going to study?
Yeah.
How much?
Quite a bit. I got about 200 pages of physics I just don't understand.
What about you, Jim O'Neill? You going to study?
Not so you'd notice it, I'm afraid.
You're going to try not to. What about you, Betty Ann Kelly?
No, I'm not.
Home from college and no study.
That's right. It's going to be one break for me.
You're just going to play.
That's right.
You don't think the vacation should be short?
Oh, no.
What about you, Eileen? You going to study?
Oh, I think there's too much fun. I'm working in a store. I work out in the buyer's office, and I'm interested in merchandising. It's a terrific experience.
So you're going to work during the day, huh?
Yes, I am.
All right, fine. You're going to study. No studying at night.
No studying.
All right, now your question number 2 comes to you, panel, from a young lady in Hazardville, Connecticut, and this is the problem that she presents.
My girlfriend and I are 12, and we think that we have enough common sense to babysit. Our parents don't agree with us, but they have decided to abide by the decision of the panel. So it's up to you. Can 12-year-old girls babysit? And if so, what limitations should parents put upon their employment?
Betty Ann Kelly.
Well, first of all, there are very strict limitations. At the age of 12, you shouldn't be out too late. And I think it's all right to babysit if you're just going to near neighbors and you're going to be up perhaps till 10 or 10:30, but preferably try to babysit in the afternoon.
You do think, though, that 12-year-old girls can begin to babysit?
Yes, as long as there aren't any real obligations like feeding the baby or doing things like that.
Well, fine. Now, if the girls are going to start babysitting, how about you more experienced babysitters giving them some instructions, Pat Utley?
Well, first of all, and I think the biggest of all, is respect the people's homes and respect the people's privacy. And they're trusting you to come into their home and trusting you that anything that goes on in their home to be quiet about it, too.
I see. In other words, respect their privacy.
Yes.
Not intrude.
No, and for the people whose child it is, be sure to escort the teenager home after they babysit, no matter what time it is.
Particularly a 12-year-old girl.
Yes, particularly.
I think that's a good idea. Emmett, have you ever babysat?
Oh, yes, many times.
What instructions do you have for this 12-year-old girl in Hazardville, Connecticut?
Well, if the child awakens and starts crying, and at first you can't do anything, and you can't get it quiet down, you can always call the parents. And I'd like to ask you, as a father of a 9-month-old boy, David his name is, isn't it?
Yes.
What do you expect of teenage baby?
Well, actually, David is such an example of a fine young man. He doesn't need much care after he's been fed in the evening. However, we do appreciate a babysitter who will see that he's covered, which is quite a job these days. And I don't know. Now, you've got me on the spot there. Let's hear, Eileen, do you have any other instructions for a 12-year-old babysitter?
Well, if the baby wakes up, she can give him a glass of water. And if the phone
You
rings...
have a little trouble giving David a glass of water. I think perhaps you better not give him food unless the parents are giving you that instruction.
Ask the parents what you should do before they go out.
Get complete instructions and by all means, be sure of where the parents are going to be. That's a good idea, don't you think?
Yes.
All right, fine. Now, as I announced last week, we're going to consider today in our department reserved for problems sent in by adults the very serious one of teenagers and alcoholic beverages. The selection of this discussion topic was prompted by the many letters that we have had from both adults and teenagers. With the holiday parties that are starting this weekend, we decided that it was a timely subject, and your letters this past week have proved that many of you agree with us. So, panel, having had a week to consider this problem, what ideas do you bring to the discussion of teenagers and alcoholic beverages? Let's hear first from our college representative, Betty Ann Kelly.
First of all, it isn't necessary to drink at parties or when you're with mixed company at all. In college, you'll find a certain element that will drink always, but you'll find that they're rather looked down upon, and it just seems to be something separate. It's not what teenagers need. There's no need for it at all. And when you go out in a party, say if you're with a fellow and he orders a drink, he's usually doing it to impress you. The minute he finds out that you don't drink, he'll say, well, I really didn't want this anyway. I'll order a ginger ale the next time. So just don't drink. Don't think it's smart, and don't think it's sophisticated, because it isn't.
Well, that's your word to the college girls, in other words.
To any girl.
All right. Any of the teenage girls. We're talking now, I'd like to limit this discussion we're talking to high school seniors and college freshmen. In other words, the boys and girls in their later teens. This problem actually doesn't concern younger teenagers. Let's hear now from a boy in this problem. Emmett O'Brien, what word do you have for the young men, young teenagers, about alcoholic beverages at these holiday parties?
Well, teenagers respect other teenagers that don't drink, and personally, I believe it's the height of stupidity. And teenage boys generally during the holidays do driving considerable, going to parties and stuff. And if they're drinking at a party, it brings to mind the old parable that driving and drinking don't mix. They're just like gunpowder.
By all means, we can go on record as saying, if you're going to drink, don't drive, teenage and adult, can't we?
Yes, both.
Eileen Barry, what's your idea of this problem?
Each age is fun as you pass through it. You're not old enough to drink in high school and college freshmen. You can refuse to drink just as graciously by simply saying, no thanks, too young.
I see. Now, Jim O'Neill, what word do you have in this problem?
Well, my word is to the parents, the older folks who are giving parties over Christmas vacation. There are going to be teenagers there, and teenagers and high school seniors and college freshmen should feel perfectly free to go to those parties where drinking is being done if they don't drink. And the people who give the parties should be very careful to have an extra bowl of punch with no alcohol in it, or an extra bowl of eggnog, and to make sure that doesn't get spiked, so that the teenagers can have something to drink without drinking alcohol.
In other words, make it perfectly available, a non-alcoholic beverage as available as the alcoholic beverage.
Yes, that's right.
Well, that's a good word for all people who are giving parties at which there are to be young boys and girls, or teenagers, young men and women. Do you have anything else to say, Jim?
Yes, I have a word to say to the high school seniors and college freshmen who do drink and won't be reformed. Drinking and driving don't mix. If you must drink, don't drive.
We certainly can say that again. Pat Utley, what are you going to say?
Pat
has been waiting to say this all the time. Now, what are you going to say,
Just
Pat?
like a young child, a young girl of, say, about 12 wants to wear lipstick, she thinks she's being so sophisticated by wearing lipstick. And that's just what teenagers and drinking, just as the attitude teenagers have toward drinking. They think they're being so sophisticated and so much older, and they're really not. If those people, when they're inebriated, could see how their appearance, they're not sophisticated. They're simply very childish, because a sophisticated person is never out of place or anything like that.
Actually, a sophisticated person is always comfortable and always acts his age. Is that right? I think that's a very good point you made. But we definitely have decided, our listeners have decided, that 12-year-old girls should not wear lipstick because they're too young. And the same thing does apply to teenage boys and girls who try to act older than they are by drinking. And we certainly hope that the holiday parties are happy and comfortable, and everybody remembers your fine advice today. We, incidentally, are never able in these discussions to arrive at a positive solution, particularly to a problem of this size and scope. Our aim is to present the honest, straightforward reactions of this panel of typical teenagers. We fully intend to discuss various facets of this problem again, and the interest of you, our listeners, will guide us as usual. Won't you please let us have your ideas? Our adult discussion period is always devoted to considering the problems sent in by our adult listeners. And now we leave our adult problem and turn again to those sent in by boys and girls from 8 to 18. Question number 3 comes from Paul Bartels in Vicki, Ohio. And for it, Paul receives $5 in savings stamps. Now, this is his problem.
I am 14 years old, and I am an uncle of 4 children. 3 are not yet old enough to talk,
but one is 4 years old, and he's my problem. He doesn't call me uncle all of the time, and I think he ought to. You see, I'm very proud of being an uncle, and I certainly will want my twin nieces to call me uncle when they can talk. But they never will unless their 4-year-old brother does it now. So, panel, what do you think? Do you think I'm too young to insist on being called uncle?
Is he too young, Eileen Berry?
I don't think he's too young, really, to be called uncle, but I think he ought to approach the parents rather than talking to the boy himself. And I'd like to congratulate this boy for being so proud of his family and really appreciating his relatives.
David?
I'd like to go along 100% with Betty Ann Kelly.
You think that's a good idea to be proud of your nieces and nephews, right?
And how?
What do you think about it, Pat?
Well, not only the nieces and nephews there, but be proud of everybody that's in your family, because a family is such a tight union, and it's the best one in America.
Well, Pat, I'm an uncle, and I'm very proud of it. I have 2 nieces, 3 and 5, and the only time they ever call me uncle is when they want something, or my father sends them for me.
Well, you'll find that probably will be more true as they grow older, Emmett, but are you proud when they call you uncle?
Oh, my head grows about 10 sizes bigger.
Fine. Well, this is a good time to be talking about a question like this, don't you think, Jim O'Neill? Are you an uncle, incidentally?
No, I'm not.
What do you think about this boy who's so proud of his nieces and nephews at Christmas?
I think it's a wonderful thing, especially around Christmas when we all should be proud of our families.
This certainly is the time to be thinking about our families, isn't it?
Yes, and a suggestion for maybe getting him to call the boy uncle is give him a Christmas present with from uncle.
Oh, that's a good idea. And then by all means to talk to the nephew's parents about it and have them approach it rather than he approach the child himself directly. Now here we come to that part of the meeting when we hear from our studio audience. So today we have a very special Christmas quiz for you, audience. Now, how about it? Are you ready for your Christmas quiz? Well, fine. Eddie Robbins is going to make 5 statements about Christmas. Each statement could be right or it could be wrong, and it's up to you to tell us which one it is. When you decide, hold up your hand, and Ed Addison will pick one of you, and we'll have your answer. So get on your toes and tell us whether these statements are right or wrong.
Christmas is a good time for boys and girls to take a little extra care and say thank you to Mom and Dad for all the things they do for us all year round.
Now, who's going to tell us whether that statement is right or wrong? What about it, young lady? What?
Right.
Right. Don't you think it's a good time of the year to say thank you to your Mom and Dad?
Yes.
What do your Mom and Dad do for you all year round?
They're nice to me and they buy me things that I want.
Fine. What's your name?
Dorothy Moody.
Dorothy, I bet your mother's going to be glad to hear that. How do you say thank you, incidentally?
Thank you.
Just say thank you. That's a good idea. Just on Christmas morning, go up and kiss your Mom and Dad and say thank you. Don't you think that'd be a good idea for all the boys in America?
Yes.
Boys and girls? Fine. Thank you, Dorothy. Here's a little gift for you from us. All right, here's your second one.
One of the best presents children can give mother is a willing, helping hand.
What about that now? Is that right or wrong? Let's hear from a young man on that. Here's your man in the blue sweater.
That's correct.
That's correct. Incidentally, what is a willing, helping hand?
When you help your mother, you take out garbage, wash the dishes, you take care of your brothers and sisters.
You think that'd be a good Christmas present?
Yes.
You sure do. What's your name?
Peter Bloom.
Peter, I'll bet your mother's going to be glad to hear you say that. And you recommend that for all the boys in America, don't you?
Yes.
Here's a little gift for you, Peter, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Here's your third one, audience.
No matter what the gift may be, it is the thought behind the gift that matters. And the person who receives it should be grateful.
All right, what about that? Here is a young lady.
Yes, I think they should be grateful for that.
Fine. What's your name?
Judy Allen.
Thank you, Judy. You're going to be very grateful for every present you get, aren't you?
Yes.
That's fine. Hope you have a Merry Christmas. Here's a little gift for you, and here's your fourth one, audience.
You should write thank you notes for every gift sent to you by a person outside your immediate family.
You should write thank you notes. Here's a young man. What do you think? Yes. Incidentally, to who? When should you write your thank you note?
After you get the things.
How soon afterwards?
About 3 days.
As soon as possible, right outside your immediate family. Say you have an uncle or aunt who live out of town. Do you write down a thank you note?
Yes.
That's all right. What's your name?
Chris Cavallero.
Thank you, Chris. Here's a gift for you, and here's your last one, audience.
A good New Year's resolution is to promise to carry the Christmas spirit of love for our fellow men all through the year.
Is that a good New Year's resolution, young lady?
Yes, it is.
Fine. Do manners have anything to do with this Christmas spirit of love for our fellow men?
Yes, it does.
Fine. We think you should remember your manners all the time. Don't you think so?
Yes.
What's your name?
Shirley Clough.
Thank you, Shirley. Here's a gift for you, and that, audience, was your special Christmas quiz. You all did very well, and we hope every one of you has a very Merry Christmas. Now, here is your friend Ed Anderson with an important message about our Mind Your Manners contest.
Boys and girls, if you have a problem in manners or social behavior, either at home, at school, or at parties, write it out and send it in to Mind Your Manners. We select 5 questions for discussion and award the writer of each $5 in savings stamps. For the best stated and most interesting question, we award a $25 savings bond. All entries become the property of this program. In case of ties, duplicate prizes will be awarded. The decision of our judges is final. The next contest closes at midnight on Wednesday, January 5th. Entries received after that date are considered for the following week's contest. So send your problems to Mind Your Manners at this address. Mind Your Manners, Department 4, National Broadcasting Company, Radio City, New York, 20, New York. Send your entry today.
Now it's the panel's turn again, so let's see what they have to say in answer to a question sent in by a young girl in Akron, Ohio. And here is her problem.
I am 17 and have yet to take speech in school. Every junior has to take it, but I have put it off because I dread it so. I have always been backward, and I just can't bear the thought of taking speech. Does the panel think that everybody should have to take it?
What's your answer to this question, panel? Let's hear first from Eileen Berry.
I took speech in my junior year in high school, and I'm awfully glad I did. I think it teaches you a lot about graciousness and how to talk to people. Most of the things you do, you carry on by speech. It's the most important thing, and I think she ought to take it.
You do, in other words, think that speech is a good subject for this young lady. Betty Ann Kelly, as a college freshman, what do you think?
Well, I think speech should be a required course, and in fact, it is in our college. But if you're backward in any way, the best thing to do is take speech and try to correct yourself, and you'll be a lot happier for it.
In other words, you shouldn't be afraid of it, you should look forward to it.
No, it's going to do wonders for you.
All right, Emmett, what's your word on this subject?
Well, it develops your personality and poise, and we had said that if she didn't teach anything else, she wanted to teach everybody in her class what poise meant and how to go about getting it.
That was a wonderful letter. I just remembered that letter. The speech teacher in Houston, Texas said that poise was the name of her speech course, and it certainly is one of our aims here. Pat Utley.
Well, this is Eileen and Betty Ann, maybe Emmett took speech. I never took speech, and I'm just a little bit sorry because when I get up to give a talk of any kind, I get so nervous and I see all these other people so very calm.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't really have a great deal of trouble talking, though, do you, Pat?
Oh, I find talking quite easy.
Jim, what about it? Last word. Do you think this young lady in Akron, Ohio should look forward to taking speech?
I think speech is one of the most important courses. It's going to be wonderful in later life to be able to get on your feet and give a little talk without embarrassment or halting syllables.
Fine. Well, we certainly hope that she does take her course and that she gets something out of it. Now, question number 5 comes to you, panel, from Peggy Rooney in Brooklyn, New York. And, of course, Peggy will receive $5 in savings stamps for submitting it, and here is her problem.
Last year when we trimmed the house for Christmas, Mother would not allow us to put up mistletoe. She said it was bad luck. Well, we are 17 and we want to have it this year. I think Mother is all wrong. Mistletoe adds a lot to the Christmas spirit. Besides being very useful, it is very pretty, and we want some in the house. Could the panel please put Mother straight on how modern teenagers feel about mistletoe?
David, you're not a teenager, but we're getting into the Christmas spirit now here. What do you think about mistletoe, incidentally, as a piece of decoration, David Benton?
I think it goes along with most of the Christmas spirit.
And you think Peggy Rooney's mother should let her have it, right?
Sure.
All right, what do you think about it, Eileen?
I think it'd be more fun if she just had it at the door, like you should come into the living room, and people were sort of surprised, at the doorway, and overtook. It'd be a lot of fun, and everyone could sit around and watch as the girl comes in, someone rush up and kiss her.
Oh, I see. Is that what Peggy Rooney means by the fact that mistletoe is sometimes useful?
Well, she said useful, and I imagine that's what she means.
All right. What do you think about it, Betty Ann?
Well, I've never heard of it being bad luck, but as Eileen says, it's all right if it's a surprise, but let's not be too obvious about it.
What do you think about girls who wear mistletoe in their hair, Pat Utley?
Well, I've seen it, and they're just a little bit... Oh, Betty Ann said too obvious.
Well, it kind of takes the fun out of it, doesn't it?
Sure, because everything, just like a joke, after you hear it over and over again, it gets worn out.
So you think that mistletoe could be kind of discreetly placed in how many spots around the house?
One.
Everett, your hands up. What are you going to say there?
Well, I'd like to find a girl that wears mistletoe in her hair. What do you think,
we won't go
Jim?
into that now. What do you think about it, Jim?
I think it's pretty and Christmassy, and it sets the holiday mood for parties. And after all, it's more blessed to give than to receive, so I think the girls should give the boys a little kiss now.
Well, that puts you on record right now. We won't expand that idea any further, but we do hope that Peggy Rooney has a Merry Christmas, and that she has at least one or two pieces of mistletoe in her house. We don't think it will hurt. And now we come to the high point of our meeting, the grand prize question of the week. Now, here's the question that was judged the best stated and the most interesting of all those submitted this week, and for it, a young lady in Los Angeles, California, will receive a $25 savings bond. So, panel, your very best attention now is invited to this grand prize question of the week.
I have several boyfriends, and I've managed to get a gift for each of them. But I'm in a quandary about how best to deliver them. On Christmas Eve, I won't have a date, because I think that's the night to spend with the family. I don't know all the boys' families, and I hesitate going to their houses. So I come to the panel. How and when do you suggest I get my gifts to the boys?
Jim O'Neill.
I think she should deliver the questions either the day before Christmas or Christmas presents.
Yeah, you deliver the gifts when? The presents when? The day before Christmas? I beg your pardon, Jim. I couldn't let you go by with that. I do it all the time. I wanted to go got you.
Deliver the presents either the day before Christmas or Christmas Day. I think it's fine that she wants to spend Christmas Eve with her family. She has the real Christmas truth.
That's a good idea. What do you think about it, Betty Ann Kelly?
Well, I agree with Jim. I think that Christmas Eve is a time for everyone's family, and you ought to stay home or go to church and wait to give the presents either Christmas Day or the day before.
And what are you going to do Christmas Eve, Eileen Berry?
Well, my mother and father both came from a very small town where my grandfather and great-grandfather lived. Practically all the town comes in Christmas Eve, and we just have a big old family time. The whole family's there, and half the town's there, too.
Fine. You're going to have a family Christmas Eve. David Benton, what are you going to do Christmas Eve?
Christmas, I'm busy as I told you.
Oh, you're going to be singing, aren't you? Fine.
I'm going to be singing in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night.
That's a wonderful way to spend your Christmas Eve. Emmett O'Brien, what are your plans for Christmas Eve?
Well, I'm going to sit around and trim the tree and talk, joke, sing carols.
Where?
Home.
At home? You're going to stay home Christmas Eve?
Oh, sure. I always stay home, and then we go to church, and we come back, and we go after and go to bed and get up early in the morning.
And open your presents?
Yeah.
Fine. Well, we certainly hope that the young lady out in Hollywood, California, delivers her gifts on time. Incidentally, Pat Utley, are you going to deliver all your gifts to your boyfriend for Christmas Eve or the day before, or when are you going to do it? That's a very personal question, but I want to know the answer.
Well, I want to surprise them, so I'm not going to tell you. Maybe they think I'm not going to give them any presents, but you know what I do on Christmas Eve?
What?
I think I do the novelist thing at all. Well, everybody just comes in. It's mad in our house on Christmas Eve, and there are so many older people, and Daddy loves to have a party where everybody is gay, so eventually Pat decides that there's no place for her at the party, and she goes up to bed around 10 o'clock or 9:30.
Well, maybe you can come over and babysit with David.
I'd love to.
Well, that's a good idea. Now, we do recommend, incidentally, what do you think about the young lady who does not want to deliver gifts on Christmas Eve in the late evening? Do you think that's a good idea, when the families are together? Betty Ann Kelly?
I don't think she should go into their family, no.
And do it earlier in the evening, by all means. Right, that's our last word on that subject. And now we open up the answer box to find the answers to those questions that were sent in, but were not selected for discussion. Now, today's first question comes from the answer box is...
The question that was left to the radio members last week from a girl in Erie, Pennsylvania. What time is it proper for a 15-year-old girl to be in on Friday and Saturday nights?
Well, here's a real controversial question. We had a wide range of answers for this one, but the majority of you agreed that 15-year-old girls should make very sure that they are properly chaperoned and that the occasion is sufficiently special to justify staying out later than 10:30 any night. We had many excellent letters from girls a little bit older who pointed out that 15-year-old girls will be happy later if they wait a couple of years before making a practice of keeping late hours even on weekends. And they said never stay out late without the full permission of your parents. Remember, it's all part of your responsibility as a member of your family. Incidentally, we'll talk about this question some more if you want to present it as a discussion question.
From a girl in Las Cruces, New Mexico. What can a girl do to help out her boyfriend, who simply cannot afford a corsage for each of the Christmas dances?
But she can make it very clear to him before the dance that her dress is such that flowers will not look good on it. Or she can tell him that she has arranged for her own flowers to wear in her hair. In any case, the thoughtful girl will think of the boy's pride and watch her tact. It is a wise and considerate girl, however, who realizes that boys have to strain sometimes to provide the flowers for each of the holiday dances.
From a girl in Houston, Texas. Is it proper to ask a friend to pay back some money she has borrowed if you need it badly yourself?
Well, it certainly is proper, but it's a difficult problem in tact. If, however, the loan is an old one and the person in your debt seems to have forgotten it, then by all means suggest politely that you would appreciate repayment.
From a boy in Houston, Texas. Do girls object to going out on a weekend movie date with a boy who is wearing a sports shirt or jacket with no tie?
Well, that's the question we're going to leave up to you, the girls in our audience. So how about it, girls? What's your answer to this question?
Do girls object to going out on a weekend movie date with a boy who is wearing a sports shirt or jacket with no tie?
We're going to be looking for your cards and letters, girls. Now it's just about time to adjourn today's meeting. And here again is the panel to say their final words for today.
This is Jim O'Neill inviting the boys again to send us their problems.
This is Eileen Barry reminding everybody to put his full name and address on the letters.
This is David Benton asking the adults to send us their discussions for our adult discussion period.
This is Pat Utley with our address. Send all of your problems and suggestions to us at this address. Mind Your Manners, Department 4, National Broadcasting Company, New York 20, Radio City, that is, New York 20, New York.
And this is Emmett O'Brien, hoping that everybody has a happy holiday.
All of us here at this Mind Your Manners meeting believe that if you wish somebody a Merry Christmas, you should come right out and say it and mean it. So I suggest, Mr. Ludden, that we do just that right now.
Well, that's a fine idea, Betty Ann Kelly. How about it, audience? Would you like to join us in sending our greetings to all the members at this meeting?
Yes! That's wonderful. So here it is. To all of you who have been with us at these Mind Your Manners meetings, All of us here in the studio send our very best wishes.
And that greeting came from the hearts of all of us to all of you. I'd like to add our thanks to those of you who have sent such kind Christmas greetings. It means a lot to us to know that you're interested in our program, and we certainly hope that your interest will continue through the coming year. We're going to have a holiday vacation, incidentally, here at Mind Your Manners. We won't have a meeting next week or the week after that. But come January 8th, we'll be back on the air with the first Mind Your Manners meeting of 1949, and we hope you'll send your problems in to us. We are going to all be here. We're going to expect you to join us. Bob DeFore, our producer, Ed Anderson, our announcer, Eddie Robbins, my right-hand man, Harry Bean and Fred Wade in the engineer's booth, and, of course, our panel of typical teenagers will all be here as usual to greet you on January 8th. Now they join me in the wish that your Christmas season will be filled with the happiness that can come on such a joyous occasion. This is Alan Ludden saying, we hope you remember the full meaning of Christmas and that you agree with us that especially during the holidays,
it is smart to mind your manners.
Mind Your Manners has come to you from the studios of WPIC in Hartford, Connecticut. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations. The eternal life. The National Broadcasting Company and its independent affiliated stations make free time available to present The Eternal Life, a program which is to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our story today, The Shamed Trumpet, was written by Arnold Pearl and adapted from the short story of the same name by Chaim Nachman Bialik. Featured as Moshe is Paul Bo and Yossi is Santos Ortega. Theological Seminary of America. Our story today, Trumpet, was written by Arnold Pearl and The National Broadcasting Company and its independent affiliated stations make free time available to present The Eternal Life, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our story today, The Shamed Trumpet, was written by Arnold Pearl and adapted from the short story of the same name by Chaim Nachman Bialik. Featured as Moshe is Paul Dubov and Yossi is Santos Ortega. Came to Kozyavka, a little village in Russia, a week before the prohibitions. The law said no more Jews may settle in the area. We were settled a week before by the skin of our teeth. Papa cut and sold lumber from the forest, and when you make a living like everyone else in the village, you meet the authorities. You establish, we'll call it, a simple friendship with the policeman. My papa, Yossi was his name, would meet the officer.
Yossi, the winter will be cold.
A coincidence, Mr. Policeman. I just set aside half a cord of wood and marked it especially for you. A friendship also between my papa and the cross-eyed sheriff.
Yossi, my dear friend, where did you get such a fine, fat hen?
You see this bag, Sheriff? Your Honor. She would fit in it like a hand into a glove. You think you could carry her home? It was the same for all the others, for the peasants and the woodcutters, for everyone. As my father said,
normal relations have been established.
When Mama made Hamantaschen on Purim, naturally she'd remember that the sheriff's wife was very fond of them. And while the Sabbath meal was being prepared, what was more normal than a visiting policeman?
Excuse me, Yossi. What is that smell?
A chicken my wife is rendering, Mr. Officer. Of course, you'll stay for the Sabbath meal.
In this fashion we lived. Our small house, 3 cows, 2 horses, chickens. Not wealth, a poorish life. But, as my mother said...
A quiet life, Moshe. A quiet life and calm.
Next door was the other Jewish family, the Zeligs, the only others in the village. And since in our house there were a lot of male and female children, and in Zelig's a lot of female and male children, Papa said,
we'll become in-laws. Certainly.
And since my oldest brother was 20, and Zelig's oldest daughter was 18, Zelig said,
become? We are in-laws. Naturally.
It worked out fine. There was the Hebrew teacher for all the kids, and the path between our houses became clear and sharp, like a pot in the hair. We ran back and forth so much. And when I smelled something good cooking in Zelig's house, I would run to Mama.
Mama, what's for supper?
For supper, stuffed cabbage.
Have you made it already?
No, but Moshe, you love stuffed cabbage.
I know, Mama, but couldn't you make chopped liver?
And what's the matter with stuffed cabbage?
Nothing's the matter. Only I like chopped liver, too.
So?
Mama Zelig is already making stuffed cabbage, and I know she'll bring some over like she always does. So if you make chopped liver and bring her some, then we can have both. Liver and stuffed cabbage.
It worked out fine. The only thing was the minion. We had no minion. All the men, Zelig's and ours, added up only to 7, 3 less than a minion. As Papa said,
a Sabbath, my son, without a minion, has lost half its flavor.
For without a minion, the Torah was not read. Without a minion, we would pray, yes, but each by himself, alone. It was sin. But when, by luck, a wood merchant would stay with us over the Sabbath, or Pesa Itzi, the dairyman from the next village, would be there, and there would be 10. Oh, what a Sabbath. Then there would be reading from the Torah, and I would go out to call all the people together, and we would sing, all together, blended. A minyan is a chorus. A chorus? A symphony. What we did to make a minyan. Once Papa came to me. Yitzchak, the wandering glazier, was in town and was going to leave and could not stay for the Sabbath. Papa said,
Moshe, no broken windows?
No, Papa. They're all right.
You're a bright boy, Moshe. So?
Well, maybe if I broke a few, Papa, Yitzhak the glacier would have a reason to stay, and then he could stay also for the Sabbath, and there would be a minyan.
You said it, not I.
It isn't a transgression, Papa.
A transgression? To give a poor man work and make a minyan? Only, Moshe, make sure they're our windows you break.
And sometimes there were only 9, and one more man was needed for a minyan. So Papa would look at me very carefully.
Moshe, can you hold a Bible in your hand?
I think so, Papa.
And can you read it?
Mostly. Certainly, Papa.
If I squinted, you could be mistaken for one.
I'd sing so loud, Papa.
For tonight. Only tonight, mind you. You have become a man. We have our minion.
Then, what a Sabbath. All day the house would have a special holiness. The pots would gleam brighter, and a gentle smile of Sabbath delight would be on everyone's face. Even Stjopa, the driver, who was not of our faith, his face too. And in the evening, Mama's time would come. Mama would light the Sabbath candles.
Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who commanded us to kindle the Sabbath lights.
All eyes were on her, and she would bring in the Sabbath. Without her, there could be no Sabbath queen. Then the house would be filled with loving kindness, and she would stand in the doorway, and in her eyes I could tell what she was thinking.
We live, O Lord, isolated in a tiny village in the forest. But God is filled with kindness, and He is gracious. And He remembers this little room in His tiny village.
As the lights of the Sabbath candles flickered, I think they were the warmest flames in the world, and the most beautiful. After the Sabbath, when the Queen had gone, my brother would take down his violin, and there'd be dancing, the Zaligs and us and the visitors. And with the waning of the Sabbath, there would be songs, and my father would sing Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatish. And if the butcher was there, the butcher from the next village who was staying overnight, then there would be stories.
Tonight, a story of Elijah and the prophet. Once, many, many years ago, more than I can tell.
And everyone would be still, I most of all, and our eyes would glisten as the butcher talked. Even the samovar would bubble quietly so as not to interrupt, and his unhurried words were like a benediction and a dream all mixed together. Then I would understand my father.
The Sabbath, my son, is a queen.
Between the honey cakes, the chicken crops, the cabbage soup, and stories, I understood my father's words. The Sabbath is a queen. Ah, I understood. The village grew. Papa's trees helped make hovels into homes. Sheep pens were built and fences, and also Papa became an arbitrator. Sometimes the sheriff was too severe, so the peasants came to Papa. So it went. The Sabbath, friendships, little Vasily, the son of a peasant who came to our school to learn Russian. He learned it, too. Except he wrote Russian from right to left, the way you read Hebrew. And also, he learned to speak Hebrew. On New Year's Day, on January 1st, we wished the peasants Happy New Year, and on the Sabbath, the peasants, even the policemen, would say to me,
Good Shabbos, Moshe.
Good Shabbos, officer.
Good Shabbos, Moshe.
Good Shabbos, Sheriff.
Good Shabbos. Such was life. And then Satan came. Satan was not a man, but rumors worse than man. There was a new governor in the province, rumors said, and new restrictions. Jews were being evicted. The home of none was safe. Envy spread.
Our lives, which hung by kindness, now hung by a single thread. Taxes were increased, and then my oldest brother Samuel was taken to the Tsar's army. The peasants, they forgot the words, Buchebos, and started stealing Papa's wood. One night, Stjopa, our driver, caught Sashka the wolf red-handed. What did Sashka do?
So tell Yossi we took his wood. Go, tell him.
So bold they became because of the rumors. When Papa went to the sheriff to complain...
I'm sorry, Yossi. I've investigated. I can't find the man who did it.
Nor was that all. A week later, Stjopa, the driver, came rushing into the house.
Reb Yossi, a plot.
What plot, Stjopa?
What are you talking about? Speak. I'm trying. At the inn, just now, I heard them. It's all the work of Sashka the wolf, the thief.
What are you talking about?
They're drawing up a paper against you. The governor. A lie to get you out of the village.
They wouldn't do it.
They're doing it right now. I saw them. Right now at the inn.
So Papa put on his coat and ran to the inn, and there he confronted them.
Is that what you want? Is this what you want to do to me because that man, a thief, tells you to? Can't any of you talk? Answer me. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry. And you, Ivan? When your daughter was sick, you came to my wife. And you, too?
Reb Yossi,
Well, we were wrong. We were wrong, do you hear? To do a thing like this to a man like Reb Yossi. Ivan, get the paper from him. Throw him into the street.
I'll do it.
Give me the paper, Sasha.
You see? Into the street! Good, you were right.
Reb Yossi, you brought us to our senses.
We might have done it if you hadn't come.
You saved us from committing a sin against the fellow man. Thank you, Reb Yossi.
Suppose we have drinks. All around.
No, Reb Yossi. Not drinks. Tread on me, beat me, for I nearly betrayed you.
My friend, take a drink. A hand clasp is better than a beating.
Well, it got no better. The rumors continued. They spread. Then came a summons for Papa from the sheriff. My father was to come the next day without fail at 8:30.
A complaint against you has come in. Anonymous, of course. Nevertheless, a complaint. I've got to act.
They want me to leave? Who? Why?
I told you all I know.
For 5 years I've paid taxes. For 5 years I brought only... Have I hurt the community, Your Honor? Have I not helped it? Yourself, even? No offense, Your Honor.
My hands are tied. Yossi.
Yes, Your Honor.
There is a man in the district office...
Who could do something?
No. He couldn't help you.
Your Honor, if...
No. It would be a waste of his time.
Any little thing, Your Honor. Even if...
Well, you see him. Don't say I said to, but you see him. 9 tomorrow morning. Maybe. Mind you, I said maybe. Something can be done.
That maybe was worse than no. 9 in the morning, wait. Then another maybe. Each day my father would go, and each day his face would grow longer and his eyes sadder, but the answer was still maybe. His face looked as if they had shaved off his beard, and still the same answers. Maybe. See so-and-so. Don't say I sent you 8:30 promptly. And all of it? Nothing. And then, like a shining light in the darkness, came the letter.
It's Samuel.
Oh.
He's coming home from the army on furlough.
Oh, how long, Yossi? How long?
2 weeks.
Oh.
2 whole weeks.
Oh, Yossi.
Listen what he writes.
Yes.
And Papa, dear, I got a strike.
Yes?
A promotion because I'm so good at it. They made me the trumpeter of the regiment.
Oh.
A trumpeter.
Oh, so when is he coming, Yossi?
Wait. Listen. I shall arrive on Passover Eve. I spend the holiday with you.
Oh, and about his bride to be about Zelda. What does he say?
Zelda? Zelda?
Yeah.
Ah, don't tell Zelda. Let it be a surprise.
Oh, yes.
What are you crying for, Etta? It's a good sign. The family will all be together for Passover.
We forgot the thread by which our lives hung, and everything was for Samuel's homecoming, everything for the surprise. Only, who can keep a surprise like that? With all the cleaning, all the pounding of the matzah, all the preparation, of course, the news leaked out. Well, maybe I said something about the trumpet to the little Zelig. Anyway, there was an argument between Mrs. Zelig and my mama.
Who ever heard of such a thing? Of course, he stays at my house.
Your house? Where should a son stay but in his own home?
A bridegroom must spend at least one Seder with his in-laws before a wedding.
He's been away from his own home 2 years. Mama, go away, Moshe. His own flesh and blood. But Mama. What? Can't I even have an argument without you?
Passover is 2 nights, Mama. No? So one night Samuel could be at our house, and the next night at the Zelig.
A good idea.
Yes, it is.
Oh, little Solomon. It's settled.
And Mama.
Yes, Moshe, more?
I was having a fight with the littlest Zelig.
Yes?
Who should meet Samuel at the station. Shouldn't it be his youngest brother? He says the youngest brother-in-law.
Well, what do you think, Mrs. Zelig?
A young Solomon?
You.
To be perfectly honest, I wanted to go not only to see my brother, but to see his trumpet. I had never seen a trumpet. And that morning when he was to arrive, I thought we'd never leave. First, Stjopa had to fix the horse.
Hurry, Stjopa, hurry. The Passover will be finished, and you'll be playing with the horses.
Then...
Into the house with you, Moshe. You're going to meet your brother with a dirty face? Go wash.
Then...
I'm sorry, Moshe. A few minutes. The wagon has to be decorated for the Passover. I thought blue flowers.
Delays. I think even the smells in the kitchen were trying to delay me. I almost couldn't drag myself away. They were drawing the chicken, scraping the fish, my father preparing the haroses, the herbs, grinding the spices, the horseradish, all these things till I had to scream.
But don't dawdle anymore. Let's go.
Oh, that trip to the station. The horse trotted, the bells jingled, the breeze blew, and the words flew from my mouth.
The first night, Stjopa, we'll have sponge cake and heart cake and nuts and raisins and games.
Ah, that's good.
And guess what the second night?
What?
Sponge cake and heart cake and nuts and raisins and games. And on both nights, Stjopa, wine.
Oh.
Look at the sky.
Huh? The sky?
It's a Passover blue, Stjopa. And the lakes, like Passover soup. Even the patches of snow.
Oh, what about the patches of snow?
Little bits of matzah, Stjopa. All for the Passover. Stjopa, can't you drive the horses a little faster?
And there was my brother at the station. He kissed me, and then I saw the case, the trumpet case. I didn't dare ask him if that was it, but I knew it was. And then as we were driving back, I had to see it, you understand. I said...
Samuel, maybe they ought to know you're coming.
What?
You know. Tell them that we're getting close.
Now, what do you want me to do, little funny one, huh?
Maybe if you blew a blast from the trumpet, then everyone would know.
Would you like that, funny one?
Oh, yes.
And he did it. He took the bright, shining trumpet from the case and blew on it. Music such as I never heard. Then everyone knew, everyone heard, everyone. The horses' hoofs said it. The jingling bells, the birds, the trees, they all knew it. My brother Samuel and his golden trumpet were coming home on Passover Eve.
Please.
And then... when we got to the turn of the road where the family should have been, where Papa and Mama should be, and everyone, no one was there. No one. A peasant met us. He told us.
2 hours ago, the sheriff's men came. Everything had to go. Even the pots cooking on the stoves, the bedding, everything. Your Papa and Mama are ahead up the road 2 hours ago. Help them if you can. We couldn't.
A few miles out of the village, we met the wagons containing everything we owned, everything we loved. There are not words to say how Mama kissed Samuel and what was on Papa's face. But this was Passover. And Passover that year fell on a Sabbath Eve. And our family was on a road in a wagon on this, the anniversary of Israel's deliverance. We rode in silence as the darkness fell. Then Mama dried her tears and told Papa to stop the wagon.
Why, Etta? It's time for the candles, Papa. It's sunset.
She reached into a bundle and brought out the 2 bright candlesticks. And she walked away from the wagon to the edge of the wood. There she knelt. And soon we saw 2 tiny flames coming from the candles. Then we heard her.
Blessed art thou, Lord our God, King of the universe, who commanded us to kindle Sabbath lights.
Those tiny flames lit up the night until it became holy forest. It softened our gloom for us, sanctified our sorrow. We watched until the candles burned down, and then we moved on to the next village. Even the horses, it seemed, trot quietly so as not to disturb that holy place. In the next village, at a strange inn, we held a Passover service. There we commemorated the freedom of the children of Israel from bondage. The trumpets? You ask about the trumpets. It was left behind with all sorts of other things when we left. It never came out and let itself be heard. Maybe it was only a child's notion. But I thought the trumpet felt ashamed.
Our eternal light story today, The Shamed Trumpet, written for radio by Arnold Pearl, was adapted from the short story of the same name by Chaim Nachman Bialik. Featured in the cast of Moshe was Paul Dubov, and Yossi was Santos Ortega. Larry Robinson played Moshe as a boy, and Adelaide Klein played Etta. The music was composed by Morris Momorsky, and conducted by Milton Kagans. The vocal soloist was cantor David Putterman, and the entire production was under the direction of Dan Sutter. Free time has been given by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations to present this program in cooperation with the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
In Psalm 63, David said, "My soul shall be satisfied as with marrow and fatness, and my mouth shall praise thee with joyful lips, when I remember thee upon my bed, and meditate on thee in the night watches." To help you focus your thoughts upon God at the close of this day, we bring you this devotional meditation from Morning and Evening by Charles Haddon Spurgeon, the great English preacher of the 19th century. This evening's text comes from Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 8. The unsearchable riches of Christ. My Master has riches beyond the count of arithmetic, the measurement of reason, the dream of imagination, or the eloquence of words. They are unsearchable. You may look and study and weigh, but Jesus is a greater Savior than you think him to be when your thoughts are at their greatest. My Lord is more ready to pardon than you to sin, more able to forgive than you to transgress. My Master is more willing to supply your wants than you are to confess them. Never tolerate low thoughts of my Lord Jesus. When you put a crown on his head, you will only crown him with silver when he deserves gold. My Master has riches of happiness to bestow upon you now. He can make you to lie down in green pastures and lead you beside still waters. There is no music like the music of his pipe, when he is the shepherd and you are the sheep, and you lie down at his feet. There is no love like his. Neither earth nor heaven can match it. To know Christ and to be found in him, oh, this is life, this is joy. This is marrow and fatness, wine on the lees, well refined. My Master does not treat his servants churlishly. He gives to them as a king giveth to a king. He gives them two heavens, a heaven below in serving him here, and a heaven above in delighting in him forever. His unsearchable riches will be best known in eternity. He will give you on the way to heaven all you need. Your place of defense shall be the munitions of rocks. Your bread shall be given you, and your water shall be sure. But it is there where you shall hear the song of them that triumph, the shout of them that feast, and shall have a face-to-face view of the glorious and beloved one. The unsearchable riches of Christ. This is the tune for the minstrels of earth, and the song for the harpers of heaven. Lord, teach us more and more of Jesus, and we will tell out the good news to others. This meditation was taken from Morning and Evening by C.H. Spurgeon. Please listen each evening at this same time for Morning and Evening.